So to be clear, Mr. Trump has no financial relationships with any Russian oligarchs.
That's what he said. That's what I said. That's obviously what our position is.
I'm not aware of any of those activities. I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
What do I have to get involved with Putin for? I have nothing to do with Putin. I've never spoken to him. I don't know anything about him other than he will respect me. Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
So, it is political. You're a communist.
No, Mr. Green. Communism is just a red herring. Like all members of the oldest profession, I'm a capitalist.
Hello, and welcome to Mueller, She Wrote. I'm your anonymous host, AG, and with me, as always, is Jaleesa Johnson.
Hello.
And Jordan Coburn.
Hello.
Today, I kind of wanted to give our patrons sort of a summary of where we're at in the investigation, so you know all the different lines that are happening concurrently. So you kind of get an idea of the scope of this investigation. Plus, there's a lot of indictments on the docket that are not literally on the docket. Use that figuratively because there's actually a docket.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of give you like just little overviews of the different strings. You know, like if you imagine me with a wall with all sorts of strings, these are them. So, as I said, the next indictments are coming, and what Mueller and Rosenstein know will connect everything. And I'm hoping the impeachment trial, which now is not going to happen, was going to buy us more time. But basically what happened is they went to impeach Rosenstein this week, and then they decided not to, and they tabled it until September. So I think that gives us plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. Did they say why they decided to table it?
Because no one was for it.
Oh, good.
They weren't going to get any votes on it, and it wasn't going to pass, and everyone was like, you're being stupid.
Well, that's promising.
Yeah, and so they were like, all right, well, maybe we'll just hold him in contempt. And so they're going to deal with it when summer session's over.
Drama queens.
Oh, totally. And as we all know, Mueller has a fail-safe for every possible scenario, whether they fire him or whether they fire Sessions and install an Amica Nostra, a friend, or whether they appoint an assistant deputy attorney general like Benchkowski and then try to remove Rosenstein and put him in there, which is a scenario we kind of find ourselves in now.
Oh, yeah.
Mueller has thought of all of them from week one, and I trust you. I trust you guys. That's why I can tell you these things. No, I trust that he's got it covered from every angle. There is literally zero chance that the House GOP idiots or Donald Trump could outsmart Mueller. There's just no way.
Yeah, and even though I feel like we underestimated them in the 2016 election, I do feel like we've done enough research to know that now they're not a match for Mueller. Like maybe the American people, myself included, were a little dumb before, but now, yeah, Mueller's the guy that I think is like their match. They really met their match.
Absolutely. And you can't. And, you know, did we underestimate him in 2016 or did we underestimate Russia?
Both, I think, personally, yeah.
There were 18 things reasons why we lost that election. Let's not fight about. It was we had an unelectable candidate, or Bernie screwed it up, or
Comey,
Jill Stein fucked it up, or Gary Johnson fucked it up, or Comey fucked it up, or the Russians fucked it up. Look, everything was perfect storm, fucked it up, we lost.
Very badly.
Yeah. So actually, we won the popular vote, so we didn't lose badly.
Yeah,
we
that's
just
true.
lost.
I guess I more meant existentially.
Oh yes. Yes,
we
it's
lost
bad.
Everything.
Yeah.
True, very true.
We lost more than an election.
Yeah.
So I wanted to check out the potential connections we can expect Mueller and Rosenstein or Mueller to make and how they all kind of connect to Trump. So first we have the Seychelles meeting and the series of meetings in the Seychelles with Eric Prince. He's the brother of Education Secretary Betsy DeVos. Secondly, we know through public reporting that he acted as a surrogate for Trump in those meetings. We know that. That is fact.
Right.
And they discussed setting up a stratcom, or a strategic communication strategy, which are communication back channels, right? The back channel, the back door, and the easing of sanctions, right? To basically promote energy trade with Russia, which kind of ties back to the Marshall Plan and the Marshall Plan is Flynn and Copson and all their buddies and McFarlane and Bud McFarlane and KT McFarlane and Sessions and all those guys meeting at the Mayflower wanting to build reactors in Saudi Arabia using Russian oil so that they could build more military bases in Saudi Arabia to guard those reactors to colonize the Middle East, which is freaky. But you would have to list Russian sanctions to get that oil and gas. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot, and I'm trying to wrap it up here.
But it's real.
And then, obviously, there's Vexelberg, and that's a guy who donated $500,000 to Trump's inaugural fund and a Cohen slush fund through an LLC called Columbus Nova, he was at that famous RT dinner in Moscow in December 2015 with Putin, Flynn, Stein,
Russian
Sheriff
television.
David Clark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Russian television, exactly. All right, so that's that. That's one.
Oh my gosh.
Then there's the Brody-Nader line of the investigation connected to Kushner and his vulnerability to Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE, and the crown princes there, which are Mbissa and Mbiza. That's what I call them, MBS and MBZ.
Yeah.
And Mueller is looking into Kushner's friend Rick Gerner, who attended a different meeting in the Seychelles. So that's how that all ties to Kushner. So now we've got the Seychelles tied with the Marshall Plan, tied to Kushner, and tied to Brody and Nader and Saudi Arabia, UAE.
And the idea behind what Kushner was going for is oil.
Yeah, oil, gas, and money. He was going around the world trying to get people to lend him money to bail him out of his
666,
666 Fifth Avenue. Exactly. Then there's all the ways that money got into the GOP from Russia, including the NRA and Russian embassies, which involve Torsion. That's the NRA Russian guy who's an NRA lifetime member. And Kislyak, that's the ambassador to Russia. Kislyak is the guy who had secret meetings with Flynn to ease sanctions. So that's how that ties into the Flynn thing. And then Donald Trump Jr. and their secret meetings along with Sessions and Kushner. So all that kind of ties together.
Oh, yeah.
And that, that also brings in Butina and her whole indictment with Paul Erickson, who worked with Dearborn and Mashburn on changing the RNC platform at the Republican National Convention.
That's right.
To go easy
On Ukraine.
on Russia's position on Ukraine.
Yeah.
Right. That was the painfully obviously titled email.
Yeah, Kremlin connection. Yeah. Here I am, I'm a criminal. That's what the email said. So there's that one. Okay. Then there's the Stone Circle and all the people around Stone. I call it Roger Stonehenge, I guess.
Oh my God, no.
And
Also brought by aliens.
Oh, that's funny.
Mueller has subpoenaed all of them, including Sullivan, Miller, the Manhattan Madam, we talked about her last week, Kakanis, his driver, and Nunberg. And Nunberg is the crazy drunk guy who snorted a bunch of coke and went on all the news channels and said, I'm not going in, you can't make me, see, I'm not going to do it.
Right. He's so cleaned up now. You seen him?
Well, they told him, maybe, bro, don't get high and go on the CNNs.
Yeah.
Because that lady's all, I can smell the booze on your breath right now. And he's like, I'm not drunk, not doing anything drunk. I'm not even at all drunk. And hey, what about that? I'm not going in. They're not going to get me. And so then that nice lawyer lady on television was like, you should probably go. It's like 18 months in jail. So he went. So all these people around Stone are kind of resisting the subpoenas, but eventually go. And the fact that Stone's in the middle makes him the target, in my mind. That's conjecture. And that's connected to Trump through WikiLeaks and Julian Assange, who, by the way, is going to be expelled from the Ecuadorian embassy soon in the UK, and he's going to be put into UK custody. We could extradite him. That could take a while. But he's part of that too. And the reason that's connected to Trump is because Trump made that announcement. I hope if you're listening, you had the 30,000 emails.
Yeah.
And then
The
boom.
WikiLeaks stuff with Donald Trump Jr., yeah.
Yep. And then, the direct messages with DT Jr. as well. And all that connects to Brexit and Cambridge Analytica, which ties back to Bannon, Manafort, and Trump.
God damn.
All that. But no collusion. Then we have the Cohen investigation, along with whatever Flynn, Gates, and Papadop gave Mueller. Flynn is connected to Manafort and Kislyak and those back-channel communications, and KT McFarland via Erickson and Butina, and of course, he was at the Moscow dinner as well. Papadopoulos gave Mueller the kickoff to the investigation and probably is finished. That's all they really needed him for. His sentencing is coming up soon.
Oh, yeah.
And coffee.
And coffee.
Oh, yeah. Coffee boy.
Yes, Grecian coffee. Gates gave Mueller Manafort, along with van der Zwaan, who gave him Kalimnik, and probably most of the Russians. I have no idea what Cohen will give the U.S. attorney. I kind of don't care right now, but I'm sick of these stupid tapes. But now there's 100 tapes, and Cohen wants to cooperate. And also, I just think it's really cool that he handed that off to the Southern District of New York. And today, and this isn't even in my notes, but I wanted to bring it up, Alan Weisselberg was subpoenaed in the Cohen case, and that is the Trump Organization's CFO. They say he knows where all the financial bodies are buried, whatever the fuck that is. I hate when they do that. When they take a normal axiom, a normal adage,
and make it so
like
creepy.
that, and then flip it, like how we add gate to the end of every scandal because of Watergate. Like, come on, man.
Pizzagate, that killed me.
It's not a gate. Just there's no gate.
There's a gate around them.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Weisselberg is. The reason that he's interesting is because he has all of Donald Trump's, for the last 4 decades, finances and taxes and business stuff. And you remember early on, Trump said, "Don't you dare go near my finances. That's a red line."
Yep, here we are.
And that might have been, and this is just conjecture, put some beans on it, but that might have been the reason Mueller handed this off to the Southern District of New York, not because it had anything to do with Stormy Daniels or payments with Playboy Playmates or anything out of his scope, but because he wanted to avoid getting into the Trump finances, because that's where Trump drew the red line.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, I think I would like to believe that Mueller wouldn't bend to his wishes like that, but he could have. And if not just that, it's significantly easier for them to do it in the state of New York versus him as a federal investigator.
Yeah, there's 9 other reasons. You're right. But like, I feel like, I don't see it as him like bending it to his will. I see it more like, I don't want there to be any appearance, even tiny, of any improper anything, so that when somebody like Manafort comes to the court and says he should have never been appointed, I'm filing a motion to dismiss everything because he's outside of his scope, they can say, no, he's not. He's well within his scope. It's well defined. And then Trump couldn't go, he's outside of his scope because he looked at my finances. Nope, they're not. It's the Southern District of New York. So.
Yeah, I think that's more Mueller style, right? Now that you spell it out like that.
Appearance. He's all about like squeaky clean, super bulletproof investigation. We've been talking about how he's going to have a bulletproof investigation since the beginning, and I think that might have been one way. And again, that's total conjecture.
Very interesting.
I feel like you're like a sports commentator right now.
Seriously, this is
the Super Bowl.
This is my Super Bowl midterm 2018.
I'm trying to get through everything. Then you have Sater and Carter Page and Caputo and guys like that. They all provide intel on Trump and Trump organizations and Trump tower deals and real estate shit, right? So then there's the Caputo, Sater, Page guys. Those are the wheelie dealy kind of slick, gross people you would never want to know in real life.
Yeah.
And then there's all that. And then finally there's obstruction, which includes the cover up of the Trump Tower meetings, especially on Air Force One, the firing of Comey, the bullying of McCabe, firing of McCabe, Rybicki, Baker, and Bente. His push to fire Sessions a bunch of times or to get him to unrecuse himself is another aspect of that. And it also came out that Mueller is actually looking at Trump's tweets now, specifically his nasty tweets towards Sessions and Comey. And what was really great is Giuliani's like, you can't, obstruction of justice happens undercover and in behind closed doors, not out in public, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Is that even a real argument?
That's like saying, you murdered somebody at noon, but no, you can't investigate that because most murders happen at night. It's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my whole life.
Yeah, and he's going to start a world war over Twitter, so I think he can also obstruct justice there.
Thank you.
There you go. You can always do stuff publicly, and with the advent of Twitter and all that, it's he can threaten witnesses, he can
totally
offer pardons by pardoning,
dangling pardons.
Yeah, or by pardoning other people who are up for the same crimes. It's kind of like
Libby.
Yeah.
Be a funny porno parody, dangling pardons.
I don't know how that would begin.
I know how it would end.
I would probably fast forward through the sex parts.
Yeah,
to get to the story.
Get straight to the indictment.
That sounds pretty good. I need that indictment money shot. So, intimidating witnesses, tamping down the investigation is what these tweets could prove. And, also when you think about you can't obstruct justice in public, what about when he went on TV with Lester Holt on NBC and said, I will host the Russia thing, and that's why I fired Comey. So, fuck you. And Mueller wants to interview Trump about these tweets, but it's unlikely Trump is going to sit down with Mueller. So we may or may not see a subpoena. It's starting to look like not, but with this new thing, it might, because the main reason Mueller could say, only the president could provide this testimony is because multiple people have access to Trump's Twitter account. So he would have to verify with Trump, did you tweet this? No. Caputo did. And then Mueller would bring in Caputo and say, did you tweet? Actually, Muller's probably already asked Caputo if he tweeted these things. So that when and if he gets to talk to Trump and Trump says, no, Caputo did it, that's a 1001 violation. You're lying.
My goodness.
That is awesome. Do we know if he's talked to Caputo already?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Oh, snap.
Hell yeah.
I think he's one of them.
Beautiful.
So there you have it, guys. The Seychelles, Vexelberg, Cohen slush fund, Kushner by way of Broidy, Nader, and the Middle East princes, the funneling of Russian money through the NRA involving torsion, Butina, people hate when I say Butina.
Yeah, I like Butina, but I've heard Butina a lot too.
Butina, Donald Jr. and Paul Erickson, and a bunch of other Americans. Then there's Roger Stonehenge, and that circle includes Miller, Sullivan, and the Madam, his driver, Kakanis and Nunberg, along with WikiLeaks, Julian Assange, and the Russian indictments of Guccifer and DC Leaks, Cambridge Analytica, and Brexit. Then we have Flynn, who's connected to Russia through Kopson, RT, Erickson, and Butina, and a back-channel communications with the Russian ambassador Kislyak. Then, of course, Gates, Vanderswan, those two guys gave us Manafort, who gave us Kalimnik and a bunch of other Russians. And then Papadop helped kick the whole thing off by drunk bragging to an Aussie in London. And then Trump bitches like Cohen and Caputo and Sater and Page, who all provide dirt on Trump. And obstruction. So those are the things.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done.
Sounds like a good old witch hunt to me.
Oh, yeah.
So many witches. Did you see the tweet? I think I brought this up before, but all the Russians' names end in VICH on that last indictment of 12 Russians. Like,
interesting.
Popovich and Akhmenshin Jovanovich and da-da-da. And one of the guys from Wall Street Journal goes, oh, I get it. It's a vitch hunt.
Oh, my goodness.
That's cute.
The Germans are involved.
So funny. It's a vitch hunt.
If they cared this much about like defending or going against witch hunts when they were actually happening, like maybe so many women wouldn't have got murdered.
That killed me when Trump's like, it's the worst witch hunt in history. I'm like, no, the actual first witch hunt is probably the worst witch hunt in history.
Yeah.
The reason we have the term witch hunt, that's probably the worst witch hunt in history.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's like, that doesn't count though, because they should have died.
Yeah. They were asking for it.
Burning women doesn't count. Only men.
Yeah.
I feel like he really does deep down inside believe it.
He probably does.
Jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Jaleesa's just drinking a Coke right now, and I'm just imagining that part of the tape when Cohen's talking to Trump, and he's just like, give me a Coke.
He's got the button now. You can just press the Coke
He picks
button.
up his bottled water with two hands. Purses his little butthole lips. God, I hate that guy.
This was such an amazing... This is probably my favorite minisode we've ever done.
Same.
We've ever done.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Of course. Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah. This is a real treat. This is being a patron is super worth it.
Yeah. I'd be a Patreon if I wasn't me.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll ask the patrons if it's cool to give this to everybody at some point. Just as
we
a
could
summer.
release it to them first, yeah.
Yeah, like
Early
they get,
release for
Yeah, they get
patrons,
like
Ask
first
if they want to share it with the world for free.
Yeah.
first here, and then we'll just jam it in next week sometime.
Totally. Because the
Yeah.
world needs it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just so nice to hear everything together. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah. Because sometimes you feel like you're lost listening to all this stuff.
Yeah,
and then, well, you don't because you're the head of the research.
No, I do.
Part,
It's a lot of moving pieces, and he's doing it all at once, and he's got 17 people looking at all of this.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is. It's crazy, yeah. And we all do our hot notes, and we all do our own individual research, but having it all
Put
wrapped
together
up there
like
is-
that? Amazing.
I'm sure I missed something. Tweet at us.
Yeah.
You're so modest.
At Mueller She Wrote. Tell us what we left out. And I'll find a way to say that I mentioned it. All right, you guys, this has been awesome. I've been AG.
I've been Jaleesa Johnson.
I've been Jordan Coburn.
And this is Mueller She Wrote. Mueller She Wrote is produced and engineered by AG with editing and logo design by Jaleesa Johnson. Market consulting by Amanda Reeder at Unicorn Creative. Our digital media director and subscriber managers are Jordan Coburn and Sarah Hirschberger Valencia. Fact-checking and research by AG with support from Jaleesa Johnson and Jordan Coburn. Mueller She Wrote staff includes AG, Jaleesa Johnson, Jordan Coburn, Sarah Hirschberger Valencia, Jesse Egan, and Sarah Lee Steiner. Our web design and branding are by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios, and our website is MuellerSheWrote.com.